Greenland. The name in itself feels like a contradiction. From orbit, this island appears as an endless expanse of white, a frozen monolith surrounded by frigid oceans. But beneath that thick ice sheet, which cloaks nearly 80% of the land, lies something few ever imagined: lost rivers, massive valleys, untouched lakes, and traces of an ancient world once alive. Beneath this icy silence is a restless, unseen realm. With over 1.3 million square miles of territory, Greenland is larger than most countries. It's about the size of Western Europe, yet only around 56,000 people call it home. Almost all of them live along the rugged coastlines, where mountains plunge into fjords and fishing boats navigate iceberg-choked waters. The interior? It's a frozen desert, uninhabitable, isolated, and cloaked in a glacier that reaches 3 kilometers thick in some places. Snow that fell thousands of years ago still lies compressed deep within. This might seem like the last place you'd search for secrets, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Because Greenland hasn't always looked like this. Millions of years ago, this land was green. Literally. Long before humans walked the earth, Greenland was teeming with life. Fossils show that forests once stretched across its surface, full of flowering plants and insects. The climate was warmer. The ice had yet to arrive. But then came the ice ages. As Earth's climate cooled during the late Cenozoic era, glaciers began to grow. Over time, snowfall accumulated faster than it could melt. Winters dominated. Year after year, layers of snow compressed into solid ice, entombing the land below. By about 2.5 to 3 million years ago, the Greenland ice sheet as we know it was born. Since then, it's expanded, retreated, and expanded again, surviving warm periods and enduring cold ones. A monument to planetary memory, its layers record the story of Earth's climate. Inside the ice, ancient air bubbles preserve what the atmosphere was like tens of thousands of years ago. Ice cores drilled deep into the glacier have revealed changes in temperature, carbon dioxide levels, and even volcanic eruptions, providing a time machine for climate science. One of the most astonishing finds? Twigs and leaves buried deep below the ice. Preserved plant life, over 1 million years old, proof that Greenland once bloomed before being consumed by ice. That same ice may be vanishing again, but more on that soon. Thanks to radar technology and satellite imaging, scientists can now see through the ice sheet, and what they've found is jaw-dropping. There's an entire ancient landscape hidden beneath. In the north, a colossal canyon stretches over 460 miles, longer than the Grand Canyon. Its walls descend nearly 3,000 feet. It's believed to have been carved by a river before the glaciers arrived, only to be sealed in darkness beneath a mile of ice. There are valleys, ridges, entire mountain ranges, and in the center of Greenland, a deep basin. Crushed by the weight of the glacier above it, this part of the island lies below sea level. If the ice melted, Greenland wouldn't be one continuous landmass. It would fracture into a scattered archipelago. In some areas, mountaintops poke through the surface, like the spines of a submerged world. Locals call them nunataks, islands of rock in a sea of ice. Elsewhere, hidden beneath thousands of feet of ice, lie unexpected scars. In 2018, scientists announced the discovery of a massive crater nearly 20 miles wide, formed by a meteorite that struck long ago, then vanished beneath the accumulating snow. And that's not all. Beneath the glacier, more than 50 subglacial lakes have been identified. These are meltwater pockets, trapped under the ice, insulated by geothermal heat from the Earth's interior. One lake stretches several miles long, hidden 800 yards below the surface. And these lakes may not be lifeless. If you were to dig through Greenland's ice, you'd eventually find mud, rocks, and life. Microbial life. Yes, even beneath a glacier that's over a mile thick, bacteria have been found. Extracted from subglacial mud and ancient ice cores, some of these microorganisms are still alive, having endured in suspended animation for tens of thousands of years. Others survive by consuming minerals or chemicals from crushed rock, living without sunlight, without oxygen, and without warmth. In 2010, researchers melted samples of 120,000-year-old ice and found bacteria springing back to life, microbes from a forgotten era, awakening as if no time had passed. But could there be more? If Antarctica's subglacial lakes have revealed microbial ecosystems, it's possible Greenland's hidden reservoirs may shelter similar forms of life. Especially in geothermal hotspots, regions where heat from the planet's mantle causes localized melting, tiny, sealed-off ecosystems might exist. On the surface during summer, small organisms such as algae and bacteria thrive in melt ponds and cryoconite holes, depressions filled with dust and microbial mats that absorb sunlight, melting the ice beneath. It's a bizarre world of survival, proving that life can exist in the most extreme environments. Which leads to an unsettling realization. If life can thrive under the Greenland ice sheet, it could thrive on icy moons like Europa or Enceladus. But there's another reason Greenland is being watched so closely. Its ice is vanishing. The Arctic is warming nearly 4 times faster than the global average. And Greenland is at ground zero. Since the early 2000s, satellite data has shown rapid ice loss. Glaciers are thinning, retreating, and releasing massive volumes of water into the ocean. Some years, over 300 billion tons of ice melt from Greenland alone. In 2012 and again in 2019, something almost unthinkable happened. Surface melting occurred all the way to the summit of the ice sheet. And in 2021, rain fell on the summit for the first time in recorded history. These events were once considered impossible. And yet, they're becoming more common. Jokelflops, sudden floods caused by meltwater building up beneath the glacier, are reshaping valleys. Rivers of blue water slice across the surface, disappearing into deep vertical shafts called moulins, which funnel water to the base and accelerate glacier movement. Entire meltwater lakes have vanished overnight. And every drop that flows into the ocean adds to a rising tide. Currently, Greenland is the single largest contributor to sea level rise, accounting for roughly 0.7 millimeters per year. It may not sound like much, but it's accelerating. Since 1993, Greenland alone has raised global sea levels by over half an inch. If all its ice melted, the oceans would rise by 24 feet. Cities like New York, Shanghai, and London would vanish beneath the waves. That future won't arrive tomorrow, but we may already be locked into its early stages. As the ice continues its slow retreat, something else is emerging: opportunity. Greenland isn't just melting, it's revealing. What lies beneath the surface is drawing the attention of scientists, investors, and governments alike. Because Greenland may be sitting on one of the last great caches of untapped earthbound resources. We're talking about rare earth elements, materials critical for modern technology. From smartphones to electric vehicles, wind turbines to satellites, these minerals are essential for the 21st century economy. And Greenland may hold some of the richest deposits on the planet. In the south of the island, one area in particular, known as Kvanefjeld, has drawn international interest. It's believed to contain vast quantities of neodymium, dysprosium, and other rare earths. These elements are vital for producing strong magnets used in everything from motors to missile guidance systems. But there's a twist. The same rocks also contain uranium. That detail has ignited intense debate in Greenland's political circles. Mining these elements could bring enormous revenue to Greenland, potentially enough to support full economic independence from Denmark. But it would also mean digging into radioactive deposits, raising serious environmental and ethical questions. In 2021, the Greenlandic government halted plans for uranium mining at Kvanefjeld, citing environmental concerns and public opposition. That single decision marked a shift, a refusal to let short-term profits outweigh long-term stewardship. It was also a signal to the world: Greenland isn't just a frontier of opportunity, it's a frontier of values. Yet the interest hasn't faded. Mining companies from Australia, China, and Canada continue to explore Greenland's southern mountains. Some propose open-pit mining in zones where glaciers are receding and permafrost is thawing. Others have staked claims offshore, where potential oil and gas fields lie beneath the Arctic seabed. Greenland's response? a complex balancing act. In a bold and rare move, the government banned all new oil exploration, one of the few nations on Earth to do so voluntarily. Officials cited the climate crisis and the risks of Arctic drilling. They chose to leave potential billions of dollars in the ground, not because the resource wasn't valuable, but because the future is. But the attention doesn't stop at minerals or oil. There's something else Greenland offers: position. As the Arctic warms, sea ice is shrinking and new shipping routes are opening. In the not-so-distant future, cargo vessels could sail from Asia to Europe via the Arctic, cutting travel time by thousands of miles. Greenland sits along that emerging highway. Its ports could become critical hubs. Its territory a launch point for Arctic access. And its location, sandwiched between North America and Europe, has long carried strategic weight. That's why military powers have always kept a close watch. During the Cold War, the United States built Thule Air Base in northwest Greenland, a radar and missile defense site that still operates today. Beneath the ice, they experimented with a covert project called Iceworm, nuclear missile launch facilities buried within the glacier. The plan was ultimately abandoned, but it left a legacy of secrecy and waste beneath the ice. In 2019, headlines buzzed when the U.S. publicly floated the idea of buying Greenland. The proposal was quickly rejected, but it spoke volumes about Greenland's growing importance on the world stage. China, too, has taken interest. Through infrastructure investments, scientific research stations, and mining proposals, China has sought to establish influence in the Arctic, and Greenland has been a key focus. It's a quiet geopolitical game playing out in the shadows of ice and fjords. One where shipping lanes, rare minerals, and military positioning all intersect. But it raises a bigger question. Who owns the Arctic? Greenland is not like Antarctica. Antarctica is governed by an international treaty that bans military presence and resource extraction. No country owns it. No one lives there permanently. Greenland, on the other hand, is home to people, Inuit Greenlanders, with their own culture, language, and government. Since 2009, Greenland has been a self-governing territory under the Kingdom of Denmark. It controls most of its domestic affairs, while Denmark still manages defense and foreign policy in consultation with Greenlandic leaders. But the vision of full independence is growing louder. Many Greenlanders envision a future where their nation stands on its own, governing its land, its economy, and its global partnerships. The road to independence is complex, and financial self-sufficiency remains a major hurdle. Today, Denmark provides an annual subsidy that makes up roughly a third of Greenland's national budget. Replacing that with mining, tourism, and fishing would require careful planning and time. Still, the desire is clear. And as the ice retreats, new land emerges, both literally and politically. The island is reshaping itself, not only as a landscape, but as a sovereign force. In the near future, Greenland may join the ranks of the world's nations, not just as a territory with a flag, but as an Arctic voice in climate negotiations, environmental policy, and global science. Already, it's using that voice. At international summits, Greenland advocates for climate action. It promotes indigenous knowledge. And it sets an example for how a nation can say no to fossil fuels even while standing on untapped oil. But not all outcomes are equal. There is another path, one where short-term profits overrule sustainability, where mining scars landscapes that have been untouched for millennia, where foreign influence outpaces local control, where the rush for Arctic riches turns the island into a geopolitical chessboard. It's a future shaped not just by ice and geology, but by decisions made today. And it's not just Greenland's future at stake, because the island's ice, and what lies beneath it, is part of the global story. Its meltwater fuels sea level rise. Its ancient air bubbles inform climate models. Its minerals power global technology. Its people, their choices, and their resilience represent something much larger than any one nation. They represent how humanity responds when the past, present, and future converge, when opportunity and responsibility collide. From the towering glaciers to the forgotten rivers beneath them, from ancient plants trapped in sediment to bacteria surviving in the dark, Greenland is not just an island. It's a message carved in ice, a call to rethink how we engage with the world's most extreme environments, a reminder that what lies buried can still shape the future. We may look at Greenland as a frozen relic, but in truth, it's awakening. Its ice is vanishing, its secrets are surfacing, and its choices will echo far beyond its shores. If you found this exploration of Greenland's hidden world fascinating, leave a comment below and let us know what you think about its future. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dive explorations into the unknown.